Good morning, I'm Elton Robinson with your October 9th grain and oilseeds report. Many of the southeast coastal states were slammed by historic rainfall last week from Hurricane Joaquin that people will be talking about for decades to come. According to David DeWitt, Clemson Extension agent for Lee, Sumter, and Kershaw counties in South Carolina, quoted in an article in Southeast Farm Press, the one in every 200-year rain event made a bad situation even worse. He says the massive storm will worsen harvest by another 20%, putting harvest at about 30% of what they were in 2014. It looked bad before, DeWitt said. It looks awful now. Many areas in the state had already had 4 to 5 inches of rain the week before the storm even hit, so the ground was already wet. There's nowhere for the water to go. DeWitt said the quality and quantity of cotton and peanuts, two of South Carolina's most lucrative cash crops, will be adversely affected due to the terrible timing of the hurricane. DeWitt said that soybeans and grain sorghum might suffer less damage than cotton and peanuts, but even those crops will be affected. And complicating matters further, the wet, muddy ground will delay harvest in many areas of the state. Rain from the hurricane did not extend into the Mid-South, where dry conditions still persist in many areas, which has allowed harvesting of corn, rice, and soybeans to proceed. In Prairie County, Arkansas, rice, soybeans, and cotton are being harvested, and fall tillage is underway. Final hay is being baled for the season, according to Prairie County agent Brent Griffin. In Acadia and Jefferson parishes in Louisiana, soybean quality is not good, and harvest of the crop has begun. Rains have slowed field work in those parishes. In Evangeline Parish, Louisiana, dry conditions persist and continue to affect field work. Some laser leveling is continuing in crop fields in preparation for spring planting. Soybean harvest continues with low to average yields being reported. The rice ratoon crop is vigorous and heading out in many fields, according to Extension agent Keith Fontenot. As of October 4th, about 27% of the U.S. corn crop had been harvested, up 9% from the previous week. About 68% of the crop is in good to excellent condition. About 42% of the U.S. soybean crop is in the bins, about 10% above last year's pace. 70% of the U.S. soybean crop is listed in good to excellent condition. Grain sorghum harvest is about 43% complete, which is 6 percentage points ahead of last year. Harvest is complete in Louisiana and Arkansas, but just getting started in Nebraska and Kansas. 70% of the U.S. rice crop has been harvested, which is a little ahead of last year's pace. Meanwhile, winter wheat planting is about 50% complete, and 20% of the crop is emerged. Here's the latest on weekly exports for the week ending October 1st. Wheat exports of about 567,500 metric tons were essentially unchanged from the previous week, but up 2% from the prior 4-week average. Primary destinations included Thailand, Japan, and the Philippines. Corn exports of 489,900 metric tons were down 40% from the previous week, with Mexico and Japan as the top 2 customers. Sorghum exports continue to surprise at 353,000 metric tons, up 24% from the previous week and 67% from the prior 4-week average. Japan and Venezuela joined China and Mexico as destinations. Rice exports of 87,700 metric tons were up noticeably from the previous week and up 15% from the prior 4-week average, with shipments to Haiti, Turkey, El Salvador, and Japan. Soybean exports of 934,000 metric tons, or 34 million bushels, were shipped to China, which took 574,000 metric tons, the Netherlands, and Mexico, among others. Beef exports of 11,600 metric tons were up 5% from the previous week, while pork exports were up 2% from the previous week. Well, that's it for this week's report. Our thoughts will be with the Carolina folks and others affected by the rain and the flooding. They could use a month of sunshine. I'm Elton Robinson. See you next week. Thank you.